Yes.
John?
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler?
Here.
Dr. Vogt?
Here.
Mrs. Wittes?
Here.
Dr. Selly?
Here.
And Mr. Vieira.
Here.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
All right, we have a presentation of 2019 audit. Mr. Robert Swisher, City Auditor.
Good. Thank you very much for having me. We've just recently completed our 2019 audit. As you can imagine, it's a little bit different this year than it used to be. With the whole COVID thing, obviously our access to the municipal building was not as good as it usually is. But I will say that the city staff did a wonderful job in getting us the record that we needed to complete the audit. Like I said, most of it was done electronically. Again, as I mentioned in previous years, our audit is a financial and a compliance audit. We're checking your finances to make sure your financial statements are fairly stated. And then we're checking compliance to make sure you're in accordance with the rules and regulations of the state of New Jersey. And throughout our audit, we perform tests to verify that in fact you are in compliance. And I'm happy to report that the opinion on the financial statements is a very clean opinion. It's an unmodified opinion. And as far as compliance issues, we found nothing that warranted going into the audit report that was in non-compliance. We did have a meeting prior to this, an exit conference with the George and Mike, just to go over other things that we did find in the course of our audit. Again, nothing of any major significance. And a couple of those things we talked about was there's some old outstanding checks that probably canceled. Checks that are over a year old should be reviewed, and if they're not valid, they should be canceled. And we also talked about possibly increasing the bond for the CFO. The state of New Jersey suggests an amount for the bond for the CFO. They don't require it by law, because if they did, they'd have to pay for it. Under state mandates, they pay, but they have a suggestion. So we suggest that maybe the bond for the CFO should be increased slightly. Overall, the city is in good financial shape. The surplus continues to grow again this year. As I'm sure most of you already know, that surplus is what allowed the city to have a higher bond rating this year. And congratulations to everybody there for that. You know, the finance and the administration can have a plan to build that surplus, but the council's got to go along with it. And obviously you did do that, and the surplus has continued to grow, and it's gotten to a point now with this improved bond rating, the rate that you'll be charged on your debt will be at a lower amount, so you'll be paying less money back for the money that you borrow. So again, that's a very positive item for the city. Again, as I said, the records are in very good shape there. The finance office does a really good job with their finances. And we audit 63 municipalities, and we had very few journal entries, if any, this year. When in some cases, other towns will have, anywhere from 40 to 50 journal entries to make. So, good job by Mike and Patrice in the finance office. That's pretty much all I have. If anybody had any questions about the audit process or the audit report, I'd be glad to answer them.
Mrs. Swisher, I just wanted, for the sake of the council and myself, because I needed to learn as well, I'd like to thank Mike Martin. We talk about the Moody's report. I understand it's not, that's difficult to take that jump. Could you tell me a little bit about that and what?
Sure. I mean, the rating agencies have certain parameters that you have to reach, okay? And, the one that was holding Long Branch back, well, there's two, as best I could tell, was obviously the level of your surplus based on the size of it and the potential for redevelopment. And you guys are hitting on all cylinders with both of them. But obviously you've got a tremendous amount of redevelopment going on and have more to come. Your ratables are continuing to go up, which is a great thing. And your surplus has reached a level now where they felt they had to raise your rating. Again, that rating being raised, you will see that for as long as you have this rating. Your interest rates that you pay will be lower because of that. And you'll actually see the benefit of that once the bonds are sold.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Swisher, just, one question, like, and I'm not a finance person, as you'll probably quickly realize. What's the, like the percentage for the surplus that kicks you up? Can you put that in context a little bit?
No, you know, again, you know, the rating agencies are very reluctant to come up with those numbers, but they want to see you generally over 20% surplus above your budgeted expenditures.
Okay.
Some agencies, you know, have higher or lower than that. You know, Long Branch has been able to get there, and you know, I mean, it'll be really hard to go to the next level. That's really hard to get to. There's very few have that, but where you're at right now is really very good for the city.
Okay, good, thank you.
Anybody else?
What is the next level?
AAA.
Double A1 then triple A.
AAA is, that takes in a whole bunch of other, the income of the municipality, all those other things get weighed in also. And, you know, look, as Long Branch continues to redevelop, you know, perhaps that'll come around, but, you know, it takes the whole city together, and Mike might even be able to, he dealt directly with the rating agency, might be able to explain a little bit more about the couple of things that would hold us back from that.
There's only 29 towns in the state that have AAA, but municipalities.
Towns, yeah, a lot of the counties have.
A lot of the counties do because they have a bigger tax base, but there's only 29. And there's only one in Monmouth County. I think it's Marlboro.
Yeah, a major rating, condition is, residential income, which is, our town is under the county average and the state average. So that kind of drags us down a little bit, and they hold against us the state pension obligation, which is totally out of our control, one of the drawing down factors. So those two things are kind of, I see as insurmountable from our perspective. And just to get this upgrade alone is, you know, was a big task.
And the pension obligation, your pension obligation isn't different than any other town. But the rating agencies have basically told the municipalities in New Jersey that the state budget and the condition of the state pension and therefore the pension obligations of the municipalities is a drag on everybody's credit rating, right, Mike?
Correct, it is.
Mr. Swisher, how does Long Branch compare to, like, percentage-wise to the rest of the towns in Monmouth County?
Well, again, you know, each town is different, and obviously there's a lot more going on in the larger towns like the city of Long Branch. But as I said, your finance department does an excellent job. We had very few journal entries, if any, to do that. The finance department has excellent controls in place. Okay, that's part of, you want to have internal controls in place to prevent problems from happening. And, you know, we observed your controls and tested them, and they're very good.
Okay, thank you.
So how many years in a row now of clean audit? We have a pretty outstanding we have a pretty outstanding record, right?
We
Yeah.
have a great record. I think it's at least 6 or 7 years
Wow.
of no recommendations.
Wow.
Maybe longer.
Excellent, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. All right, any more questions from Mr. Swisher?
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Swisher.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
All right.
Good job. All right, next we're gonna go to discussion of the loading zone community place, Lieutenant Shirley. Here he is, Mr. Shirley, how are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Great. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
So, part of what we're doing here, this was something that was found. If anyone went to look at it, the signs are already in place. And so what happened, this became an enforcement issue. There were 3 business owners in that area that requested them a few years ago. And I guess it never happened, the ordinance. So signs are in place, and we're just trying to play catch up and get this back up. So that the signs are legal and we can actually issue tickets if need be.
Well, what was the issue there, Lieutenant? People leaving the trucks and stuff?
If you ever go down there, it's a very narrow street that actually has 18-wheelers that go down there. So without having that loading zone, if someone parks even in any part of that, they're just unable to navigate that turn to make deliveries, and then they're stuck in there. So the loading zone, since that's happened, all the complaints have gone away.
Yeah. So that was where the old Gold Crust Bakery used to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I-
It's a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
street between South Seventh and Morris.
yeah. Actually, that has an exit to Morris through the unpaved section, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure an 18-wheeler would want to go through there,
No.
depending on the weight they're carrying, but yeah, you could get there.
Yeah, it's a lot of holes though. They do.
Yeah.
It's a good view of Junior Rosario's place.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions for
Nope.
Madam Chairman?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
No problem.
Lieutenant.
Take care.
Take care. Bye. All right, review of the regular meeting. Does anybody have any questions?
I just need to better understand, the lease for Bucky James. So
So
if
it's
someone
been-
could just, yeah, do
So
the.
it's been in effect for a number of years. I believe that the city actually owns the underlying property, so, if I.
That's listed for
recall-
closed session too, by the way.
Yeah, we can talk about it in closed session if you want.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's.
Okay, perfect.
Anybody else? Okay, with that, then I need a motion to close the,
Um,
Okay, you
I'm
wanna
sorry,
go? Go ahead.
Council President, but, there were people,
that's for the executive
Oh.
session.
They're not in the executive session.
now
They
the soccer presentation? Yeah.
They can't come into a closed session.
No, I know, but they were told to be here at 6, that's the only reason why I was asking.
George Love.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, got it.
Okay, with that, I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to adopt a resolution to go into executive session for the following items. Attorney-client with privilege, beach operations, Councilwoman Wittes, update of public safety, COVID-19, George Jackson, contract negotiations, Green Acres, Laura Newman, city engineer, Princeton Soccer, New Jersey Wildcats, Louis Reynaud and George Jackson, The Bluffs, Louis Reynaud and Nicholas Graviano, Seaview Towers, Louis Reynaud, Nicholas Graviano, Lone Ranch Housing, Bucky James Community Center, Louis Reynaud, 2020 Road Improvements Program, George Jackson.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler?
Yes.
Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly?
Yeah.
And Mr. Viera?
Yes.
Council President, can